Hi guys, Ren here. Quick recap from the weekend's race. It didn't go entirely as planned, but I'm quite satisfied overall. So first, let's talk about the course. It was a circuit on the Tihany Peninsula, which is situated on the north shore of the Balaton Lake in Hungary. I'm sure you all know that if you're from Europe. It's one of the largest lakes in Europe, quite an attractive tourist destination. Weather, that was plain awful, to be honest. It was 0 degrees in the morning when we arrived, and then it warmed up to 2 or 3 for the race at noon when the start was, or at 1 o'clock. So yeah, I had to wear full winter kit. I thought I won't be needing that again. The course had 2 climbs, a 4-minute climb, then a small undulation, then a 2-minute 1:30 climb, depending on how fast we went, then a flat out straight descent to the bottom of basically to the shoreline. Then along the coastline on the coastal road, and then back up on these little climbs, and then the finishing straight was 300 meters of a different climb, different stretch of road, but nothing too hard overall. So how the race went? Well, in the first 2 laps it was extremely nervous. The bunch was huge, I think around 120, 150 riders, perhaps even more, in the elite category. And to be honest, I had trouble getting to the front because the road was so crowded, so many riders on there. It was quite nervous. In the 3rd lap I managed to get on the front, and I decided to give it a good pull. And I did that for around, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes or so. I went very hard on the climbs, even over 7-8 watts per kilo at times. And that was really helpful because, well, at that point it wasn't really hurting me for those short periods, but I've managed to whittle the field down to around 30 riders, I think 25 to 30, I don't know exactly. So afterwards, the pace was higher, and the bunch, well, it was much less crowded, much easier to get around, much less nervous. So nothing really happened until lap 7, where a rider went solo on one of the climbs. Unfortunately, I wasn't really at the front at that time. I was having a bit of a rest, and the bunch decided to let him go, even though it was a very strong rider. And I saw that it's not going very good very well because he's getting away and away. So I decided to chase after him solo, and I did that for 1.5 lap or so. But I knew that if I catch him and we ride together, I can get second at first. So yeah, I decided to put all on that card, and that was a bit of a mistake because, or was it really? I don't know, because if I wanted to win I had to do that, and that's what I wanted to do. My goal wasn't to fight for 5th place or so, but he was very fast. I had a very, very hard time catching him, and I was very close at the very top of the climb. And then the problems came in the descent. You see, I didn't take this into equation, but I'm a very light rider, and unfortunately I was very, very painfully slow on the descents compared to everyone else. And not only that, he stretched distance in front of me again. The bunch almost completely caught me by the end of the descent, and at that point it was pretty much game over, because when they saw me then they started to chase really hard, and that was that. So I was in the super tuck, pushing 300 watts downhill, and I barely hit 70 k's per hour. And I think that's well, that's because of my weight, probably, because I was quite aero, quite an aero setup I have here. So yeah, it was probably that. When I was in the bunch, we were doing 80 k's per hour in the same place without too much issues, so it was definitely the problem. After that, the finish was very close. I didn't have too much time to recover, so I couldn't do very good positioning or a very good sprint effort. So unfortunately it didn't work out too well in the end, but I'm happy with my performance. I know that my power numbers are up there with the best, because even though when the pace was high and I saw the others suffer quite a bit, I was quite okay. In fact, apart from my solo move, I was never really in the red or really uncomfortable with the pace in the bunch. And last year at this point, that really was the case if someone was pushing really hard. So I'm hoping that for the tougher races with more climbing, more distance, it's going to work out fine. So yeah, high hopes for now. The next race is not really my kind of thing, but I take it as a warm-up and as a practice. It's the Pan Flat Slovakia ring, 17 laps of that, so 100 kilometers, pretty short. But if the crosswinds will be up, I will be hoping and trying for a breakaway, probably, because I really can't leave it until the end to decide with the sprint, because I'm not much of a sprinter. As for the gear, I made some quite unusual changes to my road bike. This is for the first time. So as I've shown you earlier, it was a 1x setup, and some people were quite skeptical about it. This is a 54 tooth ring, single ring, and an 1132 cassette. I have to tell you, it worked brilliantly, because these were exactly the fast climbs where you can't really decide if you want to be in a little ring, if you want to be in a big ring. If you're in a big ring, then you're cross-chained. If you're in a little ring, then you're at the back of the cassette. So it's not ideal. I've heard a lot of crunching, a lot of noises, shifting problems in the bunch, and it was definitely caused by that. Whereas I was just sitting there, going easier gear, harder gear, single ring, no problems. As with the range, 54-32 is good enough to go down to 17 k's per hour, and I've checked the course before, and I knew that these climbs are fast. So if I wasn't able to go at that pace, which I was, I think I never even got to the largest sprocket, then I would be dropped anyway. So 1x setup on the road bike, road racing, definitely not for all courses, but if you make some educated decisions based on calculations, you can calculate exactly what power you can do, what's the gradient. You can look at Strava at the climbs, what are the fast times, can you do that wattage. Then you can make a very, very good assumption if you can use 1x or what chaining size, what gearing in general you can use. So you don't really have to stick around with the traditional setups, because many people, well, in road cycling, they are traditionalists. They think they can't really improve anything, they can't really choose. Well, why would I be hauling around a 210 grams worth of front mac and chain catcher and inner ring when I don't have to, when I will never be in that ring? On the downhill, on the other hand, 54 tooth ring worked perfectly fine as well. And I was basically always in the middle of the cassette, perfect chain line, efficiency whatsoever. I had this little chain catcher on, no problems with chain retention. So the roads were quite bad at some places, and yeah, I had no problems. Some guys dropped chains and it was problematic, so I'm super happy with that. And I already have marked 3 or 4 other races where I will be able to use this setup, and I'm really looking forward to it. People have commented also on my choice of just having one bottle cage, because, well, for a 3-hour race it's too little. Well, it's too little if it's 30 degrees outside, yes, but again, you have to adapt to the conditions if you want to make most of the situations. Why would I be hauling around the second bottle and the cage if it was 3 degrees, you know? And it was 3 degrees. I brought one bottle, it was perfectly fine. I didn't even drink it till the end. So yeah, another piece of equipment that you can think about for the next race. Then for my wheel set choice, again, it was perfect. Again, some people are commenting it's too heavy for those climbs, etc. Well, it's not. The whole bike, like it is, weighs 7.2 kilograms, which is well, excellent in my opinion for this kind of speed and aerodynamic efficiency. And then, as I've said in a couple of videos previously, these are just unbelievable stable. So yeah, definitely a big thumbs up for one buy, big thumbs up for the MVs 7.8s, big thumbs up for one bottle cage. And for my next race, Slovakia Ring, this Saturday, it's going to stay just like this because it's perfect for that kind of flat race. Okay, so this is how my weekend went. I'm looking forward to the next races, and I'll be reporting on how I do and how the bike performs, what do I change and such on Strava, Instagram, and over here, of course. Yeah, so one more road race, as I said, and then it's time to do some time trialing, which is a lot more painful, but a lot more simple at the same time, so looking forward to that. If you want to know more about the bike setups that I have here in detail, then don't forget to tune into the channel and subscribe. It's off the date. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.